Welcome. Oh my gosh. Welcome back, everyone. This is Laziena on Breaking the Cycle podcast. Tasia is not here with me again, but I do have a really awesome guest. His name is Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
I met Brian on TikTok and I really appreciate his content. And so I did a brave thing and just reached out. I wasn't gonna let any fear hold me back, just braved it. And then here we are. We're connected now. And Brian, I want to say, as we talk and I've gotten to know you, I may sound like I'm interrupting you, but please know that it's because I'm excited about something that you said and I want to like dive deep into that. But I also know that if we dive deep into that, it's gonna sway us into a whole different direction. So I just want to put that pre disclaimer out there. Um,
Okay.
yeah. And what I really appreciate about your content is how much you embody the work that you're doing. And this podcast is really all about breaking the cycle. So I'm so glad that we made this collaboration happen. And I'm excited to learn more about you. So please share whatever is on your mind right now.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this is something I'm really excited about as well. I really have just been for a while now. Like my spiritual awakening journey started a few years ago, which was a very heart-opening experience. Um, and just I started to recognize I wasn't sure about God at that point, or if there was anything
Mm.
beyond this. I had lost my faith earlier in my journey, wasn't sure about my religion and stuff like that. And this awakening very much felt helped me recognize through like quantum physics and things like that that I was literally connected to everything. Everything was energy, everything was consciousness.
Yeah.
And that just sparked like a whole passion in me for knowing myself, for
Mhm.
knowing who I am, for trying to understand reality, understand God. And at a certain point, I realized I needed to heal. I realized there were patterns and cycles that were controlling my life that led to me getting to very painful places and a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
And so it really has been a journey of learning how to heal, what that is like, what it's like to recognize when you have a pattern, and how to go through the process of breaking it, because it's not like the decision to like become aware of it and change it happens in a moment,
Right.
but it takes time
Mhm.
for it to sort of unwind and for you to start a healthier pattern and everything. So that's really been, and that is embodiment, right? It's
Yeah.
like finding the healthy and loving perspectives and behaviors and choosing them and staying committed to them until they're just a natural part of your life. So,
I appreciate that. And I find that when it comes to awakenings, there's so many different levels of it. What I know that you use the term divine masculine and divine union. And to me, what that means to me is that um I had to go through some extreme breakup and to be able to even experience that journey. And unfortunately, if I hadn't gone through those kinds of heartbreaks, I don't think that I would be on the path where I was. I'd still be repeating cycles. And I'm interested in, and I think I messaged you this earlier, we have the ones who leave and the ones who are left. And for me, I felt like I was the one who left, but essentially I left myself.
mm,
I self-abandoned myself by thinking that love had to be earned, or I had to stay small, or my needs were not important. And that's kind of what led, I mean, there's many things that led to different parts of my journey, but that I feel like the last couple months this has been the biggest one that I've been learning about. So I wonder what that experience has been like for you.
yeah, I resonate very much with that idea of abandoning yourself. I very much experienced that a lot in my life. I was always someone who, whenever something went wrong, whenever there was conflict, I
Hmm.
always blamed myself. I was always quick to forgive and try and understand the other person, their point of view,
Yeah.
and very hard on myself, especially once life started to get heavier.
Hmm.
And yeah, so now divine union, and I use divine masculine and divine feminine sort of like it's one thing to understand that I'm a man in this life,
Yes.
you're a woman, you could call yourself a divine feminine, I could call myself a divine masculine, but the truth is like we all have equal masculine and feminine energies
Yeah.
and traits and qualities because it reflects the divine mother and the divine father, which are a part of all of us. So divine union is about coming in union with someone else who's a match for you, who you have a deep soul connection with, who's complementary to you and all that. But it's also about finding harmony within ourselves of our masculine and feminine. And I found that that gets reflected a lot in my life. Like I realized there was mistrust of men and women in my life. Like I didn't feel safe with either whenever they got too close. It was like and really it is about trusting humanity at that point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Develop trust in ourselves
Right.
enough to have trust with other people.
Yeah.
And that is when you're going through your healing and your traumas and you're looking at all the parts of you that have been hurt or unloved or unseen or abandoned or betrayed or anything like that, you can't help but be angry. And so then your mistrust of people during that process is probably stronger because you're putting up boundaries, right?
And walls instead. Yeah.
Yeah, like, leave me alone. I need my own space.
All my
And
hours.
not you, not you, not you. but yeah, it's a process. And then to come back to love, like once you start to feel safe in yourself, you've given yourself space and time to grieve, to express your anger, to feel all the things you need to feel, then I found that opening up and trusting people more and also like trusting myself to express myself in my content and things like that is it feels safer.
Yeah.
And yeah, since I've started to express more like my pain and share my emotions more freely, like it's been nothing but support, from the people online and social media and stuff, because I think it is a certain frequency. Like people are looking for authenticity, they're looking for realness.
Yeah. I
And
find,
so,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, please finish.
Yeah, it's been a lot though, I will say, because like I started sharing consistently online on TikTok specifically
Yeah.
um, over the last year and a half.
Oh, wow. And then you happen upon my algorithm.
Yeah, yep. And I started with sharing a lot of metaphysics and things like that. Occasionally, I would share something more raw or emotional because I wanted to be able to do that, but I was afraid to do that for a while. And but now, after just a year of opening up to the idea of being more visible, seen, heard,
Yeah.
it's that's another cycle that I was breaking, the fear of being seen and also making myself small and
Yeah.
abandoning my dreams and my desires and all of that.
Mm. I, when you were talking about the masculine and feminine, I feel like you're absolutely right. I agree with everything that you just said. And it's it's this thing where I as a woman need to nurture my feminine side and also nurture my masculine side, because once I'm whole in my masculine and feminine, when I do have a masculine in my life, I know how to nurture him. And him knowing how to nurture his feminine side is what makes him powerful to me, because when I'm ready to be held, I can rely on his feminine side to give that to me. So I do, you have to be two complete whole in order to be in union. And if that's not possible, then it's a struggle. And then you have to learn how to get through conflict. And if you can't, then abandon it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also not but and I find that a lot of and I'm not gender based. I don't like to say more men than women because I as a woman was not the woman that I am now, and I was very toxic and I had a lot of narcissistic traits, and I wasn't I don't say this in shame, but in ownership, I wasn't a very good mother. So all of these things have led me to understanding myself better, um, and understand the genders better. So I don't see it as gender roles, but what I do find is that there's a moment when we might be like laying on the bed, tears are just flowing from all corners of our eyes, and our heart is hurting so much. And that's that. There's been several of those moments where like, take this pain away from me because I don't ever want to feel this again, and I don't know how to get out of it, and I'm at my worst. And we make decisions in those moments to either open up or close. Or we make decisions to get our lives together and follow our dreams. And in that process, we become more aware and we develop ourselves more. However, when it comes to relating to others, we no longer want to feel those feelings. So we go ahead and we just share all the good things that we're doing. And what I appreciate about it is you're actually sharing the journey, the vulnerability, because connection really happens. That's what more men are hiding under their armor. That's the softness that I, as a woman, want to see. But I know that there are other men who want to know that they're not alone in that. And, we end up getting caught up in, well, this person is avoidant, this person is anxious, or this is the behavior,
Yeah.
instead of like really going down to what are our emotional needs and how do we meet them without saying, you know what, Brian? I have all of these emotional needs and you have to meet them. And if you don't meet them, I'm gonna punish you for that. And then on the other side, please share that. How did that feel?
It hurt when I realized just the expectations that were on me that I didn't realize were on me, but I had always been fulfilling, you
Yeah.
know? Like whenever someone else, especially the women in my life, whenever they were emotional, whenever they were anxious, whenever they were upset about something, I felt like I wasn't, if I reacted, I was the problem. So I had to learn how to like suppress
Yeah.
and just be like the calm presence,
Mhm.
even if inside I was upset or anything like that.
Mhm.
And eventually I just sort of didn't want to voice anything because I didn't want to be yelled at. I didn't want to be punished in that way, feel that way.
Right.
And to me, it's like learning about my eternal self and my eternal nature was really the key to kind of understanding my needs and understanding people as well, understanding men, especially because men are taught to be hard and strong and stoic and all these things and quiet.
Yeah.
And beneath the hard exterior, though, it really is like we all have this inner child. Our soul is like this sweet, innocent being. We're soft. We're, you know, we have feminine qualities. We have
Yeah.
excitement. We have exuberance. We have giddiness. We get excited and stuff. But it hasn't felt safe always to express all of that. I know in my youth, there was always the fear of, being made fun of if you were more feminine or expressive, if you
Right.
didn't act a certain way, if you didn't act like a man, even though I was 10 years old or something like that. It was, but I remember those times and I remember having to shut down those things because I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being made fun of. Homophobia was a big thing. So it's like being made fun of in that way, like people projecting that onto you,
Mhm.
even if you're not that.
Yeah.
It's, it's just fear of not fitting in, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just opening up after having so many walls put up.
Mhm.
Like it literally, the fascia in my body is like, has felt like tight armor around my whole core. Like, and
Yeah.
as I continue to open up, it's like stretching and expanding and healing and loosening and all these things. And sometimes I can feel it really contracted, and sometimes I feel it really open and expressive, and that feels amazing
Yeah.
because I haven't felt that since I was a kid.
Right.
And so it's just a whole new experience of myself as I go through this healing journey. It's rediscovering myself very much so.
I love that you brought up inner child too, because I I learned a lot about my attachment style and my love languages and stuff like that. But when it came, I didn't realize that I had an inner child that learned that learned a few things and made that a belief. And then there's a teenager who is protecting that belief, and that is how I was sabotaging relationships. I did not know any of that. So I did an inner child workshop, and it was very experiential, 3 days, and that opened up my eyes to a lot. But I was also studying the attachment style. So to me, it made sense when I started realizing what somatic healing also really is, because it's not only that from 0 to 3 is when we form our attachment. By 7, we have our limiting beliefs. No matter, we don't have to go through trauma or well, that is a trauma response, but the word trauma, sometimes I think it can be misunderstood as certain types of abuse instead of an unmet need.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at my kids, I think about the moments when they were between that 0 to 3 age, where they would have picked up fear in their bodies, where they would have learned to that moment their heart dropped and that fear still stayed in there. And when that moment is recreated in life, whether they're at work in a meeting, they're with a friend, or they're just hanging out at a party or in an intimate romantic relationship, those things are going to come up. And like freeing them up and understanding them, adding love to it, and living from our inner child joy, that's where the magic is, because I feel like that is our spirit, that is our true spirit, and it all we need is to access that joy, because we become so creative, we end up living in our purpose and serve others and just understand what ultimately unconditional love really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I love that you brought up inner child, because I'm a huge huge inner child fanatic, and I think that I like to think of it as I wear my little girl and I take her with me everywhere. So I speak very fastly. I'm always excited. I wear a crown. I put a heart on my cheek, which I didn't. Oh no, I should have put it on today. And so when one of the things that I love that I recognize in other people are their inner child. When I see their inner child within them, I get so excited. So your giggle, it cracks me up, because it's like I'm meeting you in like elementary school or something, and I'll make up like a story about it of how we met, and that's who I'm with all the time. And sometimes we can be adults and sometimes we have to, but at our core, we are still those two kids running around on a playground or something like that.
Mhm. No, that makes perfect sense. I don't know. Being my inner child, it's weird trying to, especially with my awakening, like I took it very seriously.
Yeah.
Like this, 'cause I where I was from, like I was almost 400 pounds and in like chronic pain for a decade that was horrible and debilitating and lots of just really unhealthy coping mechanisms and stuff. So it got really heavy. It got
Mm,
really heavy. And so I took my healing very seriously. It became my number one priority. Awakening, understanding reality, facing my fears, blah, 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 and stuff like that. It just became so heavy. And so then getting to my inner child, I realized I had neglected like the playful and fun part of life.
Good.
And I was like, how do I even get this back? How do I? And it did help trying to go back to like childhood things and stuff like that. But also, I don't really want to play Pokemon all day anymore, you know? So it's like, um,
I'm a Pokemon
what
trainer, by the way.
are you really?
Yes.
Love that. Um, I have been trying to figure out what my inner child loves to do now.
Hmm.
And really, I think,
Fun. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm glad that you're having fun doing it. It's been hell for me. No.
It was hell though. It was hell because at first she did not trust me. She didn't want to have
Hmm.
anything to do with me. I had to earn her trust. Because,
Hmm.
like, in some ways, I felt like she was like, bitch, you left me. You just
For real.
abandoned me for somebody else. How do I know you're not going to do it again? And I
Hmm.
felt like the very last try that I did with a relationship was to honor her because I wanted her. That was my way of proving to her that I was always going to fight for what she wants. And nurture her back up to that. And I think that really helped me with the connection. And then I got to meet my inner teen.
How
Yeah.
did that go?
Oh, she was not, she was angry. She was mad. But you
Mhm.
know what? I've embraced her. And whenever nowadays, so one of the like biggest thing that I always tell myself, like every day or like just generally as a practice, if I'm whatever it is that I'm feeling, right? If I'm angry, sad, or overwhelmed, what is it doing to me, feeling in my body, who is it coming from? And it doesn't need to go all that deep anymore because it's kind of like a switch now. But it was like, wow, what am I feeling when I'm angry? What is it that I need, and how do I meet those needs? So, being able, I feel like I lost my train of thought there.
You're good. You
Okay.
were talking about your inner teenager being angry.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
don't know.
embracing her anger, yeah. So it was my inner teen is just my protector, and she doesn't like when I'm overdoing it. And now I see her as kind of like she's just looking out for me when I have too much going on, and she's trying to tell me like, hey, you gotta slow down a little bit. You're getting a little out of control. We made an agreement. I'm holding you accountable. So now whenever I feel angry, my daughters we have a safe space where we can give each other a chance to be angry and say whatever we feel just so we can release it out of our system. She is sassy. She gets feisty. One day I didn't even this is how I met her. I was just talking to my daughter and I was upset at something. I wasn't upset at my daughter, but I was just upset at something. And my daughter go, "Dang, mom, is your inner teen okay? Because she's feisty today." And that's when I was like, "Oh, hello. I want to meet you." And it's been a good journey, but yeah, she was angry with me for quite a while. And yeah, so now it's that image of Samuel L. Jackson, and he's in that white wife beater and he's just kind of standing very upset.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking or like he's about to get off my lawn. That's my representation of her. And
Lovely.
yes, that's her. And I call her Patricia.
Of course you did.
It wasn't me.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that from a movie? What is that
Yeah.
from?
Oh my gosh.
Split? Is it Split? I'm trying
It's
to think.
it's at the tip of my tongue, and everybody who's listening to this right now is screaming the name of that movie. Unless
Probably.
you just said it.
I'm so terrible. Yeah, it might have been Split. I think there is one of his personalities is
Yes.
Patricia.
Yeah. I could
It
just
might
picture
be
the
something else.
actor who plays Patricia, James McAvoy.
Perfect. Yes, of course. Oh man. Yeah, my inner teenager, definitely angry. I realized at a certain point when I still had anger and even grief and fear, like how much of it was directed at myself. Like
Right.
I was angry at myself. And again, coming back to spirituality, realizing, I chose this experience. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of anger about why did I do this to myself? And then
Right.
you got dive into the bigger picture of things.
You gotta zoom all the way out. I must know what's there because why would I do this to me? I've had
Mhm.
those thoughts very recently myself. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah, no, and it'll drive you crazy if you don't get good answers
Yeah.
because you know.
And I think it ends up being just accepting it too. It's just like, okay, I have the awareness that this is
Yeah.
what it is, and now I accept it so I can be in flow. But there's days when it's like, why? I
Mhm.
This was unnecessary. It could have been done a different way. Like, I have control. Well, I do have con I did have control of how it went.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the other
And
part
that's
too.
the hard part to understand. Is my free will still intact? And I have to trust that it is. I just have to.
I love that.
Oh, it's
And
ridiculous.
it's so incredible too because you mentioned spirituality, you mentioned consciousness, you mentioned quantum mechanics, right? And I feel like any of those, that's our intelligence. If we follow physics, we're going to find the ends of the universe. If we follow psychology, we're going to find the end of the universe. Health, we're going to find the end of the universe. Like we'll understand what our purpose and our journey is. And that's the beauty of it because each of us are going to have something unique in that realm that helps us co-create. And I may not be good at like understanding somatic healing, but I may need it for my inner child healing, and I may not I may identify more with my favorite Gary Zukov, but I might need um what's his name? Joe Dispenza's work in order to do my healing. So it's really amazing when we take those knowledge-based things and put them together and then actually embody the work, then it becomes something else. It becomes more divine and more sacred, and we are able to see the whole picture, the zoom out completely and see the whole grand design and where we're meant to fit in. And I find that it's a rarity to understand that.
Mhm. It
Uh,
is. We're just coming to a point in human history where awakening and understanding yourself as the creator is possible for us. Yeah.
right.
So it's like, though this is probably my greatest passion is like understanding the evolution of consciousness and humanity's evolution because I think it sort of explains exactly why we chose to come here and everything, and it makes sense, and it has compassion and understanding, and it is beautiful when you really zoom out and you look at what really resonates with your heart, with your soul, because we are designed to register with truth.
Yes.
Because we're consciousness and we're intelligently designed, truth resonates with us. It brings peace to our nervous system, to our heart, to our mind, as where distortions or illusions or fear based ideas give us anxiety, give us fear and problems and things like that. So for me, like every the different avenues that you talked about to get to a deeper understanding of the universe, or who we are, it's just pointing to the idea that everything is designed to bring us back to ourselves, to
Thank
the
you.
who we are.
Well, sorry, I interrupted. Very drop the mic,
The
bells, do the thing. Like,
thing. But yeah, it's everything is designed to bring us back. There's no wrong path, there's no wrong way. There's a bunch of different frameworks.
yeah.
And for me in my awakening, I really did want to like simplify things. That's what I wanted. I wanted to understand in simple terms, what is reality?
Mhm.
What does it mean to be consciousness? What does it mean to be the creator? What does it mean to heal and align with my true self, my eternal self,
Right.
and to let go of the false self, the trauma, the misperceptions, everything that's not love?
Yes, and hearing you say those words, and I'm like having flashes of like, yeah, yeah, wow, it's like a movie playing in the side over here, like.
I love it.
Oh, okay, that's why that happens. So this can, all right, cause and effect. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what
What
we're
we,
all doing. We're connecting the dots,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah. It's kind of a cool, I like to think of my life as like a mystery adventure now. You
yeah,
know, it's sort of like, what am I going to discover about myself? What am I going to discover about reality, or what I what resonates with me, what I want to do, what I want to create. And then sometimes I still get lost in the pain and
yeah.
what still hurts me and
Mhm.
all of that. Because even though we're waking up to being divine, spiritual, eternal beings, having a temporary human experience, we're still here to be human.
Exactly. And experience the experience itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to see the bigger picture of what's going on with humanity, because there's so many different predictors and psychics and all these things channeling things and putting out information, and so many different things that are contradicting, so many things that are false light, so many things that still aren't really rooted in love and truth, and things that still divide us. And ultimately, we want to be embracing any ideas that unite us, that
Mm.
bring us to the truth of oneness, because that's the only way humanity is going to heal and progress and evolve, is if we embrace that we need to stop hurting each other.
That's right. Yeah. We need to stop hurting ourselves essentially too. It has to come from within.
Exactly. If I hurt you, I hurt myself.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Mm. And there's so many layers, so many levels because it's not just oh my gosh, my computer's making noise. I hope it doesn't.
I'm not hearing it, so I think we're
Okay.
good.
Um, it there's so many levels to it. It truly is mind, body, spirit. It's totally connecting because I'm also learning that I have to, I felt like I had the rug pulled out from under me, and for so long I couldn't name it. And so now it's like, wow, when I start to feel that, I have to like in that moment center myself so that I'm no longer bracing for the fall. I'm like, okay, if I fall, I fall. I know that I'm got.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and so just living in that, whatever flows in, let's see what the lesson here is and take
Mhm.
it for what it is. If it doesn't work out, maybe there's something that needs to be healed. And that's the direction that it needs to go. There's something that you said about free will, and that is something that I always say. Like I can sit with someone, and I'm sure this is something that you can relate to as well. And I can also like kind of see their life and understand where they are, and not like an above me type of way, but like really
Mhm.
truly connect to their hearts.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I also know from my experience is that the decisions and the clarity and to take the action has to come from within. So I can't influence someone's free will. And I can maybe
You can,
inspire it
but that
or
comes with consequences.
that's right. It does. That's negative karma. I want to put more
Yes,
positive karma in my cause
exactly.
and effect of quantum physics,
Yeah.
quantum realities.
Yeah, my file. Yeah.
And I did enough for that. I
Me
feel
too.
like yes, I've repaid. I paid the cost.
Yeah.
But one of the things like when I hear the word free will, right? It makes to me it's like we have angels and we have spirit guides and we have so many energies that we're not even aware of, but we know the knowing. And one of their things is that we've learned is that they can't also influence not influence, they can't when it comes to free will, it has to be ours. So it
Yeah.
makes me think, like ascension wise, that's where we're heading because we can't we have to know when someone's going through something that it's best for them and not show up in a way that's going to harm them
Yeah.
or hurt them, but actually be that light while they find their light kind of
Mhm.
thing. And I feel like that's part of the purpose and part of the breaking the cycle and part of co-creating together.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think so many people think that we need to be awakening people by going around and yelling at them and
Yeah.
being abrupt and, yeah, arguing and all these things. And
Mhm.
I'm like, not that those things don't play their role in the awakening,
Mhm.
but everyone has a plan for their awakening. Every soul has a higher self guiding them. You know, the soul came here with a particular journey in mind. Everybody has a time for their awakening to occur, even if it's not in this life, you know.
Right.
Like we really are here to learn how to respect free will. That is the only real law in existence is
Yeah.
the law of one. At
Yeah.
least that's my perspective of it. And which is the law of honoring free will, the law of love, the law of do no harm.
Subcategories.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so, how can I respect you in your journey? How can I learn to have compassion and understanding for you, even if you are stuck in arrogance or ignorance or pride or fear or anything like that? How can I just love you for who you are, even though we can see your trauma, we can see your pain, we can see what you're hiding, stuff like that. How can I serve you? How can I love you? Or how can I just leave you alone and let you
Right.
be? Because you're
Yeah.
not a problem anymore. I need to learn how to take care of myself, honor
Mhm.
my free will, honor my joy, my purpose, my mission, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So it's a whole dance. It's a whole learning curve. I think everybody on the awakening path has to go through that in their own way.
Absolutely. And I also find, and I don't know if I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm second guessing myself at this moment. But I feel like when it comes to the word healing and the healing journey, there's some context that could be misunderstood there. Because healing, I find sometimes it can be seen as awareness. Okay, I understand why I'm doing this that I'm doing. But I think that healing, and my experience, is healing the actual wound of what has, what that belief, that lie that I believed that I wasn't worthy, the very one that I wasn't lovable or whatever, the core one was. And
Mhm.
it's going to those wounds and healing them from a place of love and compassion with grace. And that is work, that is connecting with the inner child, that is reparenting and then reparenting the nervous system so that we can align body, mind, and spirit. But
Mhm.
I find that it can be so loosely tossed around, the healing journey, and it needs healing, but after that, it's like this freaking amazing experience that's like I am so grateful for. Like I
Yeah.
and also like what the hell, man? Moments.
A lot of that. Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
know, but
Um,
for the most part of it, after those what the hell man moments, it's like, oh wow, okay,
yeah. You have the epiphany, the breakthrough,
right,
yourself in a new light, or you actually just start to feel love inside your body again. You
yeah,
start to feel good. It's like, oh, this is what it's like to feel joy without feeling shame at the same time, or
yes,
the same type of thing. Healing definitely has a lot of. We're all trying to understand healing better because we're understanding what it means to heal as consciousness. We're not just healing a broken arm or something like that. We're not healing something like we're healing our hearts, we're healing our whole bodies, our energy centers, understanding that our body is energy. And it's not about fixing yourself. You know, like it's important not to think that you're broken or beyond fixing. It's more like realizing what misperceptions of yourself are are living in you
yes,
and realizing that they were never true. And
at
the
all,
reason that it
yeah,
hurt was because you were believing that they were true.
yeah,
And so really like what causes all dis-ease and pain in the body is us believing these misperceptions, these distortions of ourselves, of reality, of each other. They literally hurt us. Our judgment, our condemnation hurt us. Our fear hurts us.
mhm,
And sort of for me and my understanding of healing at this point, it's come down to like three layers of healing. It's sort of like we first we have to make the choice to find a more loving perception. Like we establish I have this limiting belief. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I'm enough. I don't think this or that or whatever. And I know that that's not true. I know that that is hurting me. And so I go out and I seek a better perspective. And so I heal my perception first. And then when I do that, because we have an energy field and a nervous system that is reflective of that energy field, we have to go through emotional purging, which is like energetic purging. So we feel the emotion behind the pain of believing that bullshit for so long.
For so long.
For so long.
Mhm.
And so you have to feel it. And you feel it in layers. You feel it as it comes up. You
Yeah.
can't pick and choose. You just have to trust like
Yep.
source, your higher self is guiding the process,
Yep.
you know? And you do that. And then comes the somatic healing or the physical body healing.
Yeah.
And sometimes during emotional purges, you'll feel like the body let go or feel better. But
It's a
it like,
relief.
exactly. Yeah. And you have like this mystical, instantaneous healing experience and you feel divine and it's amazing. um,
Like a big
and
giant hug from the divine. It's like, it's
yes,
okay,
yes,
baby. I
like you
got
did
you.
good. Yay. Your inner child's happy again. You did it. uh,
I'm sorry, were you, so that's you were saying that those are the three phases that you believe it's
yeah, it's like perception, energetic or emotional purging, and then physical healing, then your
yeah,
body. And sometimes you have to do a lot of work. Like in my case, I had a lot of chronic pain. My hips and my low back were stiff and tight and
yeah.
hurting from years of not moving and stuff like that. So I've had to do a lot of movement and work just to get them to start feeling better and to clear up those blockages down there. So it's been a painful process and a long process, but yeah, that's sort of my understanding of healing at this point.
Yeah. I like that. I have something similar. I mean, I have a couple similar things, but the one that I resonate with the three processes, I call it first person, second person, and third person
Oh,
view. So it's like first I have to understand what's going on with me. And then I understand how that affects other people and what I allow for it to affect, how I allow it to affect me. And then the third part is the zoomed out effect, where I'm looking at it from the holistic view of how to interact with all of these different versions of my reflections or my mirrors or, whatever lessons that I need to have. So it's like, yeah, that was what came to me after one of those moments where you have the mystical experience.
love
I
it.
love that you said that. So, I don't want to like be abrupt or anything, but I feel like you and I can go on forever. And I think it's been I want to try to wrap up now because I want to be able to do more of this with you so that we can talk forever.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah.
you've already given your your three process of healing. But what advice would you give? Like what's one overarching advice that you would give to men specifically about their healing journey?
Um,
You're like, you asked me for one woman, I got 30.
yeah, I'm like, how do we narrow it down? Um, I think it's important to come back to your heart and just learn to start trusting it, to start listening to it, and to not be afraid to feel things or say the things that are going on in your head. Because a lot of my healing, like with my ex, for example, when I went through my awakening while I was still with her, and we did a lot of healing together, like the last year of our relationship. Um, Realizing that by expressing the thoughts in my mind that weren't based in truth, that were maybe hurtful to her or me, it squashed like the power behind them,
Mhm.
like my fear of saying them, my fear of expressing them. Once I got it out there, then we were able to talk about it.
Correct.
And there was understanding, there was acceptance, there was forgiveness. We moved the energy and our hearts opened more. And even though that ended up bringing us to a point where we realized we didn't want to stay together or need to stay together anymore, like we weren't codependent on each other anymore, it was what freed us up for whatever's next in our life.
Mhm.
And like, if you really want to move forward, if you want to feel more free, we just got to get more in touch with our heart and speak our truth and not be afraid of potential repercussions
Mhm.
in that way.
I like that. And I agree with that. It sounds like my spacious repair language is what you guys were speaking. Giving each other the space to
Yeah.
say feeling without judgment so that you can get to the other side of it, to the real
Mhm.
needs of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Radical honesty. Yeah. That's what I call it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think that's I've embraced radical acceptance, radical trust, radical honesty, and just go dive deep. Whatever
Yeah.
comes up, comes up. If this is how I feel, this is how I feel.
Radical love. That's what frees
There
us,
we
you
go.
know?
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being available and, being open to this. And I definitely want to do this again.
Yeah.
And
This was so much fun. Thank you. I'm really grateful.
me too. Me too. And to our viewers, thank you for listening. And our listeners, thank you for our viewers, thank you for view. I'm just gonna make it
Yep.
complicated.
Okay. Yeah.
Y'all know what y'all want.
Thank you, people,
Yeah.
for tuning.
Thanks
Yes.
for watching and listening, and we'll be back again. I'm definitely keeping this guy around.
Thank you. Appreciate it.